let us jump right into our presentation for the day. And today's topic is making healthy eating part of your lifestyle. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about incorporating healthy eating just so it comes naturally to you, just as part of your lifestyle, because that is the easiest way to achieve your health goals. If eating healthy just becomes habit, as part of your normal lifestyle, as opposed to something you're trying to force yourself to do, trying to force yourself on a diet or have some extreme goals that you're trying to reach. Goal setting is fine, but it's easier to achieve if you just make it part of your daily lifestyle. You wake up and you decide that I'm just going to make this healthy eating normal and not something that's abnormal that I'm doing extra. So once again, the purpose of our lesson, we're going to say it over and over and over, my friends. Make half your plate fruits and vegetables. Make half your grains whole grains. When we talk about whole grains, we mean grains that are not processed, full of dough conditioners and other toxins, and not stripped of the nutrients in the bleaching process. Choose low-fat dairy options, and most of us get our protein from meats, but we want you to explore plant-based protein sources, beans, nuts, soy, those kind of things. And we will say this before every class, please cut down on the sodium, because that's where most of our high blood pressure comes from. And the label reading will set you free. You read the label and find out how much added sugar, saturated fats, and trans fats is in your food. And once again, most of the bad things that we eat come from eating processed food. We aren't doing this to ourselves on purpose. When we eat the processed foods, that's where the bad stuff lives. And we will encourage you to be active for at least 2 hours and 30 minutes every week or more if possible. The more, the better. The more you move, the better you feel. All right, today's objectives. Learn to identify 5 concepts of a healthy lifestyle. Identify the 5 food groups and a healthy choice from each food group. And we're going to identify 5 aspects of the nutrition facts label that make it easier for you to make informed choices that support a healthy diet. I think we're going to do more than 5 aspects of that facts label. We're going to pick that thing apart topic by topic. As I mentioned before, label reading will set you free, because you are what you eat. And if you don't know what you're eating, that's what you will become. So, making healthy eating part of our lifestyle. Okay, how do we make healthy eating part of our lifestyle? And when we say part of our lifestyle, I mean making it natural. It just comes natural to you that you choose healthy choices. Add more fruits and vegetables. Number one way to make healthy eating part of your lifestyle is add more fruits and vegetables and make it available to you. Put it on a bowl on your table. So when you walk past it, you have fruits and vegetables and take the ho-hos, ding-dongs, Twinkies, hot Cheetos out of your cabinet. Put it in the basement somewhere, hide it away so you have to work for it. But put the fresh fruits and vegetables in your refrigerator and on your counter. And when you get hungry, you will eat it instead of walking in the basement to grab a Twinkie. So we definitely want you to add more fruits and vegetables. And that's especially easy right now because we have an abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables on our grocery shelves. Grab a handful of Michigan blueberries. And for those of us who live in these polluted cities, the antioxidants in the dark berries works wonders for your cell production. Okay, we got fruits, vegetables, and bring on the whole grains. As we mentioned before, all grains are not created equal. Label reading shall set you free. When you go to buy bread, if you go to the section where there's white bread, you will see one word on the label. Does anybody know what that word is? When you buy white grain products, same word all the time.
Bleached flour?
It will say enriched.
Enriched, yes.
Enriched. It will say enriched on all of your white grain products. Somebody thought it was a good idea that the food would be tastier and more palatable to your palate if it was white. So they came up with a plan to strip the colors out of the whole grains, which are perfect when they come out of the ground. And what they discovered was when they stripped the colors out of the whole grains, you also strip the nutrients out so that it ain't food anymore. So they had to figure out what we're going to do to make this food. So let's enrich it with something in our laboratories, some vitamins that we can, some artificial vitamins that we can put in there and make it food again. And the whole grain contains 3 parts, the germ, the bran, and the endosperm. And when they strip it out, all you get is that empty husk that makes it bread in their interpretation. So they have to add something to make it whole again. Whole grain products will say whole grain right on the label. If it does not say 100% whole grain, then it is not 100% whole grain. Also, when you read the nutrition facts label in the ingredients column, the first ingredient should be whole grains. If the first ingredient is not whole grains, it's probably not 100% whole grain product. The label reading will set you free, my friends. And sometimes it may say wheat, or it may say cracked wheat, or it may say multigrain. But if it doesn't say 100% whole grain, then that is not what you're getting. Vary your protein routine. Can anybody tell me what that means? Vary your protein routine. Anybody got an idea about that?
You should get your protein from different sources. You can get it from chicken. You can get it from lean cuts of meat. You can get it from fish. You can also get it from beans and so forth. So you should vary it, vary the source, switch it around, because you have multiple sources from which you can have protein, and you don't want to overdo on any one area, especially if you're getting your protein from meats. Because as you said, even when you're going with lean cuts of meat, when you're eating the animal, you're eating their cholesterol too. But when you're eating plants, you're not eating cholesterol at all.
Great answer. Great answer. You want to teach the rest of the class?
Yeah, I like you.
That is a great, very thorough answer. Vary your protein. Get some vegetable source protein in there along with your meat. All right. Move to low fat or fat-free dairy. This one, I try to tell people sometimes all low fat or fat-free dairy is not that tasty, but you can substitute moving to low fat if you just eat less of it. For instance, if I have any cheesy people in there who stand in front of the refrigerator that eat the cheese straight out of the bag, stop doing that. Eat less, or you can pick low fat versions of your favorite dairy, because people tell me that there is a low fat cheese that does taste pretty good. I haven't found one yet, so what I do is I just eat less of it. Eat less or try the low fat or fat-free dairy. All right, putting it all together, let's make some healthier shifts. Instead of whole milk, go to low fat, 2% or skim milk. That's a real easy, low hanging fruit kind of change you can make. That one is real easy. Pick the blue cap instead of the red cap, or the blue carton instead of the red carton. It may not work if you have kids or grandkids. Whole milk is probably better for them when they're very young, but as they get older, they also can shift into the low fat dairy category. Now, we had the sugar demonstration last week. So I hope that scared some people out of drinking pop. So let's switch. Water for that. What was it? 25 teaspoons of sugar in that pop. Let's switch to the water, which is nothing but water, which is what we're made of. If you are what you eat, you should be drinking water. Okay. And somebody mentioned last week, you can infuse water with some of these tasty fruits that you see down here. Infuse your water with some lemon, and I see cucumber in there and some limes. We heard all kinds of tasty ideas about infusing your water last week. So if you got to have some taste, infuse it with something. Somebody mentioned, it was an herb. Was it basil?
Yes.
I remember that. Was it basil?
Yeah, basil and cucumber and lemon mint.
Lemon mint. Lemongrass. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, lemongrass. All of those. The other lady said lemongrass, ginger.
Yes.
There was a third that escapes me.
Right. So yeah, if you need some tasty water, those are the options you can use. And that cream-based pasta sauce is very high in fat and sodium. So switch your Alfredo out and try some vinegar and oil with your pasta. Or there's some other lighter options you can use as well. One of my favorite dressings is real French vinaigrette. And also, if you want to make your own dressing and avoid the really nasty stuff, the additives that are in the dressing, there's a reason that dressing can sit on that shelf for a year. Anybody know why the dressing can sit on the shelf for a year?
Preservatives?
Packed with preservatives. Read that label. EDTA is one of the most common preservatives that's in the dressings and some other foods as well. And I think for my homework assignment, I forgot what EDTA stands for, but it's about a 60-letter word. Also, if you're using your ranch dressing, you can see propylene glycol is in there. And that is also one of the main ingredients in the antifreeze that you put in your car. So yeah, that's why that's tough. Can last on the shelf for a year. Make your own ranch though. Get some buttermilk and some olive oil and some herbs. Mix it up, heat it up, cool it down. You can make your own ranch. So yeah, we want you to make healthier choices with what you're putting on your pasta and your salads, because the cream-based pasta sauce is very high in saturated fats and very high in sodium.
Another really good pasta sauce you can make on your own is if you take fresh basil leaves. Actually, you can use any green leaf stuff. You can make pesto out of just about anything. But basil leaves, olive oil, lemon juice, throw some walnuts in there. They say pine nuts, but pine nuts are very expensive. Okay. And even some Parmesan cheese, a little pepper. I don't do the salt, but you throw that all in the blender and whip it up. And that makes a great pasta sauce. I mean, because you don't have it heavy on it like you might have a marinara sauce. You do it as like a coating Or you can actually even use it in salads too, but it's easy to make pesto sauce and then you control what goes in.
That sounds delicious. If you get a chance, type that in the chat for us.
Okay.
Okay. And we just spoke about white versus whole wheat because the whole wheat gives you the grain that has all three components that are necessary for good health, whereas the white bread has all of that stuff stripped out, and you're just down to bleach husk of wheat. Ice cream versus a homemade smoothie. I got any smoothie drinkers out there? That's another easy one to transition. Instead of going to get the butter pecan, get some vanilla flavor yogurt and whatever flavor ice cream you like. You want strawberries, put strawberries in there, blueberries, bananas. My favorite go-to smoothie is strawberry, blueberry, banana. What else I like to put in there? There's one other thing. It'll come to me. And you can do fresh fruit or you can do frozen fruit in your smoothie and put it in your blender. And you have a nice, nutritious dessert or a breakfast drink on the go. And you can put things in there like kale and cucumbers and other vegetables to add even a more nutritious vitamin punch to your smoothie. Instead of butter, sauteing in butter, let's saute in olive oil. The reason for that is butter has more saturated fat, olive oil has more unsaturated fat, and the oils are always better for you than those solid fats that we have talked about through the course of the class. Now, I'm pretty sure there are some recipes that oil won't do. And as we mentioned in the past, I don't know who's going to cut the butter out altogether, but you can certainly eat less. And you can even substitute half the recipe that calls for butter, olive oil, use half the olive oil, half butter. But yes, use those oils instead of those solid fats to avoid the saturated fats. Any questions about putting it all together, healthy shifts? Okay, let us move on. The My Plate Daily Checklist. This checklist, this particular slide will show you how to get 2,000 calories a day. But remember, my friends, it depends on how active you are. Some of us would starve on 2,000 calories a day if you're very active. But if you have a sedentary lifestyle and you don't move around a lot, 2,000 calories a day will work well for you in terms of keeping your weight down and keeping the bad fats and cholesterol off. This is what a 2,000 calorie a day meal plan would look like. 2 cups of fruit. 2 cups of fruit could be an apple and a banana. 2.5 cups of vegetables would be like a salad at lunch and a serving of pinto beans or collard greens for dinner. 6 ounces of grains, which would be whole grains, would probably be a bowl of cereal or a couple slices of whole grain bread, and 5.5 ounces of protein would probably be a chicken breast, and 3 cups of dairy. A yogurt in the morning for breakfast, or a smoothie, or a couple cups of milk with a meal throughout the day. So this is what your 2,000 calorie meal plan would look like. But once again, is there anybody that seems like that's a starvation diet for you? I know for me, I'd be starving on 2,000 calories. So I might add a little bit more. The main feature of this 2,000 calories a day, though, is I want you to notice the 2 cups of fruit and the 2.5 cups of vegetables. That amounts to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And I always suggest, no matter what your calorie intake is, that you get that 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in every single day, because that's where the vitamins and the nutrients are. And when I say 5 servings a day, it sounds like it's a lot, but it's really, truly easy to do. For instance, in the morning, I eat a banana and a glass of orange juice, 2 servings in the morning. And then instead of packing hot Cheetos and a Pepsi to snack on throughout the day, I'll snack on some trail mix with raisins or some other dried fruit. That's a serving. So we're already at 3 before lunchtime. Have a salad at lunchtime, you're already at 4 servings of fruits and vegetables for your day. And at dinner time, I always have a vegetable at dinner time. I'm sure most of you do too. There it is, 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. Sounds like a lot, but it is really easy to do. 6 ounces of grains. I'm probably gonna eat twice that much. If I eat a bowl of cereal in the morning, I'll probably eat a little bit more than that. And that 5.5 ounces of protein for me will look like 10 ounces. So I'm going a little bit over that 2,000. Does everybody understand the chart, the pathway to 2,000 calories a day? Any questions on that? Okay, if you need to keep up, just write down what you're eating during the day and see if you can hit that 2,000 calorie goal. But once again, my friends, if you are active, if you're working out, if you have a job that keeps you moving, if you're delivering the mail, you are probably going to eat way more than 2,000 calories a day. If you're working in the plant, you're going to eat more than 2,000 calories a day. So you can always refer to the calorie chart to see where it should be. All right, a little exercise here. Name a healthy choice in each food group. Just off the top of your head, anybody just blur out, what's a healthy choice in the fruit group?
Apple.
Okay.
Grapes.
All right then.
Blueberries.
All of that, it's going to be easy, the first 2. So what about the vegetable group? What's a healthy choice in the vegetable group?
Kale.
Kale.
Zucchini.
Zucchini.
Broccoli.
Broccoli. Pinto beans. Don't cook them in salt pork though, my friends. Okay, what about the grain group?
Rice.
Rice. All rice is not created equal either. Remember, look for that word enriched. If you see enriched on that label, then they took something out and added something in.
Quinoa. Like quinoa, barley.
Quinoa, barley, all those are great grains. That is the name of my favorite cereal, by the way, Great Grains. I'm going to show you that box when we start doing label reading. I think I might have my other favorite cereal though. What are some healthy protein choices?
Chicken. Beans.
Beans, top of the line. There's other vegetable-based soy products too that are really good.
Lentils.
Lentils, excellent.
I don't know if tofu has protein.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's another good alternative protein source. But you got to know how to cook it right, because if you don't, it tastes like you're eating Play-Doh.
It's true.
I really had a problem with soy until somebody did it right. I was like, oh, that's what I've been missing. And then I discovered the textured vegetable protein that you can put in your spaghetti sauce, and you will not miss the meat, my friends. What about dairy? What are some healthy sources of dairy? Everybody can't consume dairy, but if you can, what do you think is a healthy alternative?
Low-fat cottage cheese.
Mm-hmm.
No fat cottage cheese. Cottage cheese.
The Greek yogurt that doesn't have the fat that regular yogurt has.
Very good. Greek yogurt. Yogurt without the fats. And another thing, when you're eating yogurt, also check the label, because all yogurt is not created equal. Some of it has massive amounts of added sugar. So we want you to make sure you read the label and avoid those high sugar yogurts. Well, all those are great choices, my friends. So let's move on here. All right, we're not working out today, so we're gonna skip this part. My internet went down at the office. That's why I'm in a new location. And I don't think I didn't get my workout slide into my presentation today. All right, here we go. The all-important label reading section of our class. Label reading will set you free. What to limit? Choose fats with a low percentage daily value for these: fat, cholesterol, sodium, added sugars. Let's go through where we find these things. So this is a sample label for a box of mac and cheese. Number one, start here. Serving size. Sometimes we get confused. We look at serving size and we think they're talking about the entire container. That is not the case. So what would be the size of one serving in this particular product?
1 cup.
1 cup. How many servings are in this whole box?
2.
2. And what that tells us is all those numbers you see written down in your nutrition facts label, that would be for 1 serving or 1 cup, which tells us if we eat this whole container, what do we have to do with all of those other numbers?
Multiply by 2.
There you go. We have to double everything. So for instance, you got 3 grams of saturated fat in a serving. You eat the whole thing, you got 6 grams of saturated fat. So that's important to keep in mind with every nutrition facts label that you read. Serving size, very important. So that you know you have to multiply, how much you have to multiply the ingredients by if you eat the whole thing. Okay. And all these nutrition facts labels are mandated by law to be the same. Every nutrition fact label you read will contain the same information in the same order. So how many calories we got in here?
250.
Anybody see the calories?
For 1 serving.
Anybody see how many calories we got in here? You?
Oh, 250.
250 calories in 1 serving. And 110 of those come from fat, which makes sense because it's mac and cheese. And it's processed mac and cheese because it's in a box. So you're going to get some other stuff coming up here pretty soon. Now, next, we move to our nutrients section. On the right in the purple section, you will see what is called the daily value. And the daily value is calculated by the USDA to give us a guideline as to how much of this product our bodies need for nutrients or our bodies don't need every day of this product. That's the purple section where you'll see the daily values. What that indicates is the total fats, the 12 grams worth of fat in this product is a full 18% of all the fat you should consume all day. Everybody got that? So that tells you if you eat one serving of this, that's 18% of the fat your body needs all day long. And you will always find that on the right side where it says daily value. You will see that on every nutrition label. So all fats are not created equal. Saturated fat. Anybody remember saturated fat? What is saturated fat?
Cholesterol, the hard fat.
Yes, that's the bad fat. That's the solid fat. That's the fat you can hold in your hand. And if you can hold it in your hand, you can hold it in your stomach. Unlike the unsaturated fat, which is things like oils, which slip right through you, like they slip through your fingers. So there is no unsaturated fat in this product, which is a good clue that you probably shouldn't eat a lot of this, whatever it is. And an even better clue that you shouldn't eat a lot of it is what's next, trans fats. As we mentioned on the first day, if you see a product with trans fat, leave it on the shelf, my friends. Trans fat is so bad, McDonald's took it out of its diet, out of its foods. That's how bad it is. Trans fats are so bad, they're illegal to put in food in some states. So, and it's also, trans fats has many names, like partially hydrogenated oils and palm oils. Those things are trans fats. And trans fats are very hard to digest in our body, so you want to avoid that. So if you see this product, keep on walking. And you know where you usually find trans fats is in the snack section of your grocery store. You won't find trans fats in many other places, but if you're eating snack food, load it with trans fats. And you see in the daily value, what percent of daily value of trans fat is good for you? Zero. There is no daily recommendation of trans fats at all. Our next section is cholesterol. So we got 30 milligrams of cholesterol in here. So that's 10% of our daily value for one serving. And the sodium, 470 milligrams of sodium, a full whopping 20% of what you need all day. So if you eat this product, you have consumed 1/5 of the sodium you need all day long. Now, we'll go to carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are essential for giving us energy. So carbohydrates are not a bad thing because we need it for energy. That's what keeps us moving. If I got any marathon runners out there, you know, you consume a big pasta dinner before every marathon. Do I have any marathon folks out there? And you consume a big pasta dinner after the race. And the reason being, you need carbohydrates to keep it moving. If you ever watch Tiger Woods on the golf course, he's always munching on some carbs while he walks to the next hole. So yes, carbohydrates are what we need for energy. Dietary fiber. Dietary fiber is necessary for our digestive system. We need to consume a great amount of fiber every day. We get those fibers in our whole grains and in our fruits and vegetables. That's where our dietary fiber comes from. And as you can see, how much dietary fiber is in this food? 0. So yeah, it's not helping your digestion at all. We got sugars in here, and the new labels will have added sugars on them. There's only 5 grams of sugar in here. How many grams of sugar is suggested for your daily value? How much sugar do you need for your daily value? You notice that number again? It is 0, my friend, because it has not been determined how much sugar is healthy for us. The reason for that is everything you eat turns into sugars. Everything will turn into some form of sugar in your body and calories, because that's what you have to burn for energy. So there is no daily value because you're consuming sugar every time you eat. So added sugar is totally unnecessary. Now, the next section of our nutrition facts label shows us the nutrients that we need. And if you look at number 4, it tells you get enough of these nutrients. If you look at number 3 in the yellow section, it will tell you to limit those nutrients. Now we're getting to the good stuff. So we have 5 grams of protein in this particular meal. It has a little bit of vitamins in it, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron. Now, I'm going to give you a tip so that you can notice right away if a food is healthy or not. Look at the daily values at the top in the yellow section. You see the numbers 18, 18, 10, and 20. Everybody notice that? Now let's look at the numbers in our nutrients section. You got 4, 2, 20, and 4. Now this is how you know whether or not food is healthy for you or not. If the numbers at the top are greater than the numbers at the bottom, what does that tell you? The numbers at the top section, the numbers in the yellow section are greater than the numbers in the nutrients section. That tells you this is not a healthy food. That's what that tells you. That's the quickest way without reading the whole label. When you're shopping, you want the quickest way to identify whether a packaged food is healthy or not. The nutrients should outweigh the fats, the cholesterol, and the sodium. If it's the opposite, this is not healthy. So let's see. Okay, we're going to see. I think I got a healthy label in here from one of my favorite foods. All right, can everybody see that? It's kind of small there on the side. Can everybody see my facts label here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a quick look at this. This food has about 15 servings per container. And there's 150 calories and 190 calories if you add the milk, because this is a cereal. This is a whole grain cereal. Now let's use the aforementioned method so you can tell me if this is a healthy food or not. Look at the daily values at the top. Most of them are pretty low, except for that whopping 12 grams of added sugars. Everybody notice that? fat-free all the way, 0 saturated fat, 0 trans fat, 0 cholesterol, only 150 milligrams of sodium. Very small numbers of the bad stuff. Now let's look down below the black line where all the nutrients are. What do you see? What does this tell you?
It is healthy.
Yeah, because it's packed with everything you need to keep you healthy. So I would highly recommend this food. It is one of my favorite things to eat. That's what it is.
Well,
I recommend this highly. That 12 grams of sugar is outweighed by all those other vitamins that is in this food. It's whole grain oats. And then you add the dairy, you add the protein and the calcium, and you get a label that looks like this.
I didn't know that Cheerios could be healthy.
Oh yeah, one of the healthiest cereals you can eat. One of the healthiest. Even just, the regular Cheerios. I picked apple cinnamon because the regular Cheerios, of course, would have less sugar as well. But I picked the one I like. Any questions about label reading? You're muted. Unmute yourself, Ms. Bacon.
I do have a question. There was something, and I'm not remembering it exactly, but it had to do with where you're looking at the carbs and then the fiber. And I guess it was if you take the carbs and divide it by the fiber, you want to try and keep that number under, I want to say it was like 4. And then you knew it was okay as opposed to like consuming, like you said, empty calories.
Exactly.
But I can't remember the exact number it was and the benefit it had to do with, but you're not going to get away from carbs a lot of times, but they said like when you're looking at something, divide the carbs by the fiber, and if the result of that is under a certain number, it's okay. If you go over that number, hey, does that strike a bell for you at all?
Nope, but that's your homework assignment for next week to tell us what that number is. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah, the smart kids always get homework. Okay. Thank you for that, though. And we'll be looking for your answer next week. Anybody else got any more suggestions or questions about the nutrition facts label? One thing I forgot to mention was we didn't look at the ingredients list. So this is important to know. When you're reading the ingredients list on your nutrition facts label, the first item is what that food is mostly made up of. For instance, the first item in this one on the cereal will be whole grains. And that tells you what the food really is. And as you go down in descending order, everything gets less and less from first thing on the label to last thing on the label. And I will have to pull up, I'm going to bring one of those labels next week because we're going to do another label next week just to practice. All right. As we mentioned, we need you to get 2 hours and 30 minutes every week. And we need your youngins to be working out at least for an hour a day. And slowly build up the activity that you do. Start slow, work your way up. Don't try to run the marathon your first day. Try walking around the block and work your way up to the 100-yard dash. Build a healthy meal. Make half your plate fruits and vegetables. When you look at my plate, you always see that half of that plate is fruits and vegetables. So when you're building a healthy meal, you want to look at your plate and make sure half of it is fruits and vegetables. Include those whole grains instead of those empty enriched grains. Don't forget the dairy if you can tolerate dairy. I know as we get older, we sort of start to lean away from the dairy, but it does have benefits in terms of calcium and protein. I know if I'm drinking milk, I'm probably eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or a tuna sandwich with it, or it's in some cereal. Lean protein, stay away from the fattier cuts. And the way price of meat is now, I suggest get whatever cut you can afford and trim the fat yourself. You can always trim the fat yourself. Avoid extra fat. That's some low-hanging fruit. Avoid the saturated fats specifically, and avoid those trans fats altogether. Treat yourself to a little fat on the weekend so you don't want everybody to have a treat on the weekend so you can continue to maintain a healthy lifestyle, but give yourself a treat. Don't eat sausage and bacon for breakfast every morning. Wait till you cook pancakes on Sunday morning. Get creative in the kitchen. We got a nice recipe for some pesto in the chat. That's what we mean by getting creative in the kitchen. Sub out those fatty, unhealthy foods for more vegetable protein. Sub out your ranch dressing for more vinaigrettes or something you can create yourself, as opposed to buying the stuff off of the shelf that's been sitting there for a year because it's full of preservatives. Add fruits to your salad. That's another way to get creative in the kitchen. When you're making a salad, chop up some peaches or strawberries or blueberries and add them to your salad. Take control of your food. How do you take control of your food, my friends? How do we do that? I have a suggestion. Eat less processed foods. That's how you can take control of your food. Stay in the fresh fruit and vegetable section of your grocery store. And if you do want to eat some meat, go to the butcher counter and have them cut it the way you want it to be cut. They may even trim fat for you at the butcher's counter. But you take control of your food by cooking it in your kitchen. Every time you pick up the phone and call DoorDash, you ain't in control of your food anymore. Your food is now being made by people you don't know that have no love for you and driven around on the backseat floor of some kid trying to make extra money to pay for books. So you are not in control of that food. Control your food by preparing it in your own kitchen. Try new foods. Has anybody tried anything new lately?
I've tried quinoa for the first time like 3 weeks ago, and I like it, so I keep consuming it.
Okay, that's great. I got to try that. I was looking for something new to try. I haven't tried it yet. You said it tastes good? I'm going to try it. I may try it today. I still got some old foods I'm trying to conquer. I have not yet conquered the beet. I'm still working on that. I got to try it in some different forms, I guess, before I can consume it. The downside of not trying new foods is you don't know what you're missing out on. I didn't eat watermelon. I did not like watermelon the first time I tasted it as a child. And so I did not eat watermelon for 50 years. And the next time I had a slice of watermelon, I kicked myself. I'm like, I've been missing out on this for 50 years. That is the downside when you don't try new stuff. A healthy sweet tooth. Anybody got any suggestions how we can have a healthy sweet tooth? Making your own smoothies, that's a good one. I got any dessert people out there who can tell us how to make one healthy?
I looked for a recipe that was you buy rice cakes and then you put peanut butter. You do raspberry like marmalade with some frozen ones. You put it just in the stove and then you cover it. Well, this is too much, but you can cover it with dark chocolate and then you put it in the freezer. And then you have like a sweet dessert, but it's not that processed.
It sounds delicious though. And number one thing for us to remember, my friends, everything you eat and drink matters. So don't take what you put into your body for granted ever. It all matters. Treat it like it matters and get into healthy habits. And also, as I will tell everybody in my class, please treat yourself every now and then because you do want to have fun. You do want to enjoy your food, but we all can enjoy our foods. We all can be healthier if we eat with a purpose because it all matters. Anything you put into your body is important. So let's make sure we're putting things into our body that are nutritious and are providing for our long-term health. Well, all right then, that is all we got for today. Next week, we're probably going to look at another nutrition label and be ready to sweat it out because we're going to have a nice exercise next week that includes my favorite exercise, which is dancing. So get ready for that. And remember, my friends, compare nutrition facts label when you're shopping. And for those of you who like to cheat on Sundays instead of picking greens and buy the glory greens, they do have low sodium options. So look at the shelf, then look at the shelf under it and choose the lower sodium option. And compare the facts labels for all your foods when you're shopping. And everybody's homework is to be active for 30 minutes or more every day this week. And that is it, my friends, for this week. And I will see you all next week. And remember, if you have any healthy recipes or healthy food choices, remember to bring them with you because we all want to learn some new stuff to eat. All right, then. Any questions before we go today? See you next week.
Okay, see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.